I love what I do. Almost everything that I do has come from not trying to do a business, but something that I love. I'll tell you about the music. Well, actually, let me start back. When the software was the kind of like the first thing. Before that it was art. Let me take it back even further. I'm an artist to begin with, and art runs through everything that I do. That's the foundation.
What kind of art? What do you mean art?
Digital graphic art. So I'm like computer art. When I was young, I used to draw on the back of my papers. That turned into messing with the computer. I started learning Photoshop by putting black eyes on people with my friend when we were really young. I didn't have the computer. I would go over to his house and we would get little pictures and draw scars on people's faces and just have fun with it. And that's how I kind of got into computer art, just messing around with like that. And I was like, this is fun. I could do this,
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lanes of Mastery. Today, I have a really cool guest because this dude is in my favorite city. And he's out there living the dream of my favorite city. And I'm vicariously living through the cat, low-key jealous and hating on the cat. And, until I can get out there myself, I hope you're doing well, but not too well,
Right.
But this dude, this gentleman that I'm going to introduce everyone to tonight is doing a lot of things: fitness, entrepreneurialism, music. He has his own products and just so many things that I've seen this guy do and that I'm aware of. And so I wanted to bring, this gentleman on, and I'll let him introduce himself in a second, because he is doing so many things. It's not just one thing. And so for all the people who like my girlfriend loves to do a lot of things. She loves to do a lot of different things. And there are people in life who are like that. I'm not really like that as much, but there's so many people who are. And so I try to have people on the podcast someone for everyone, right? Whether it's age, gender, lifestyle, what you do actually as a professional, or what type of person you are. So you fit the, jack of all trades, just successful in a lot of different ways that I respect, that just one of those is hard and you do more than one. So this gentleman I have on today, I'm going to let him introduce himself and, kind of a little bit about himself, and then we'll get started.
All right. Go for it. I appreciate that. Hello, everybody. My name is Khari Clemens. Really pleased to be here tonight. Like you said, I do a lot of things. I don't even know how to narrow it down. I am what you would call a serial entrepreneur. And I'm also a person who really doesn't like to be put into a box. And I think that's why I do so many things. Just a quick note on why I do so many things is because I have this vision of my life. I have this belief that somehow, some way, I'm going to be super wealthy. And I'm not sure how it's going to happen. And because I'm not sure how it's going to happen, I dabble in a lot of things because I know that one of those things, or maybe multiple of those things, will be what takes me to the next level. I'm married. I have a 2-year-old daughter. She'll be 3 next month. I have a really good network of friends and associates, which I really think is one of the most important keys to my success, is having a lot of people around me so I can see what is possible. And I'm blessed with having good friends and good associates like Lucky himself. That's why I'm here tonight, because I just happen to be having a lot of good people around me that believe in me and I believe in them. And I think that when we get together, this is how we rise. Things doing like this. So thank you, Lucky. I appreciate this.
Man, it's my honor and pleasure. So, man, I know originally you're from the Bay Area, right?
Correct.
Out here where I am now. So, man, and all my jealousy and spitefulness, how did you get out to Atlanta? How did you tell me okay, you're from the Bay, so tell me maybe a little bit about that. And then, maybe your transition to Atlanta. How, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. So I still claim Oakland, even though I'm out here in Atlanta.
Okay.
I'm Oakland native. Okay. Lived out there for a while, moved to San Jose. And eventually I met my girlfriend when I was living in San Jose, and I was with her for about 6 or 7 years, and it had been a while, man. And at the time I was doing software development, and I was working for a firm called Cognizant. So I was doing contracting. They would send me to different places. I worked for LinkedIn, eBay, Kaiser, some video game companies, stuff like that. And I owned my own company for a while as well. Matter of fact, when I met her, I was doing software for solar I have like this solar dashboard that I was building for data visualization. And I loved working for myself. That was great. But I stopped doing that, went to the workforce, like I said. And eventually I got a call from my contracting firm. They said, hey, would you like to work for Verizon? They're doing a brand new thing and you want to build some software for them to help them plot their fiber networks. I was like, yeah, that sounds really good. It's like, okay, it's in Florida. I was like, oh, it's in Florida. Okay, well, how long do I have to be out there? Well, if you want the job, you got to be out there in 2 weeks. And so I was like, wow, okay, 2 weeks. And I knew at that moment that I couldn't go all the way across the country and have my girlfriend still just be my girlfriend if I was going to take her with me. So at that time, we basically said, I said, look, we got 2 weeks. You want to get married? And it had been long enough. She kind of knew it was coming anyway. So I said, now's the time. Let's do it. We got married within 2 weeks. I had to pack up my stuff. She stayed behind for about a month to get her stuff. We went to Florida. We had a child out there. We stayed out there for about 2 years and outgrew the place that we were at. And so we needed a place to go. And we're a single income family because she wanted to work at home. And that was fine with me. And I figured I'm not going back to California so I can just afford to live in a garage. And I got some family that's in Atlanta in that area, and I would like to buy a home. So let's go look out there. Turned out that my uncle is a real estate guy. He was able to show us a couple of different places and hook us up with some lenders, and that's how we got to Atlanta. And luckily we got family out here. I've got cousins and everything else, which is really great because when we were in Florida, there was nobody out there. So it was just us kind of feeling like we were on an island, So yeah, here we are now around family. I left the other job. I am now an engineering manager for a company called Shipt. They're basically kind of like Instacart, but we got bought out by Target. So they deliver groceries, and not just groceries, but if you buy something from H&M or whatever else, they do like last mile delivery. So they'll actually deliver it to your house. And it's been interesting. It has its ups and downs. I still don't like to work for people. I still really like doing my own thing, but the job is kind of security when I've got my young child here to make sure that I can take care of the bills and everything. But on the side, I'm still doing about 7 or 8 other things.
Man. So, okay. And so that's another thing is like, man, how do you find the time to do all these things? Like to be a father, a husband, to be a weightlifter, a music producer, how do you do it? I mean, is it 28 hours out there? What is it?
I was just telling this to my wife the other day. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure I can get to the gym because I know that I have to get, first of all, personal time and things that I need to take care of before my family wakes up. Because once they are up, my day is not mine anymore. Or once I start my job, my day is not mine anymore. So I have to find that extra time in order to make sure that I can talk to the people I need to talk to, make the phone calls, do whatever side work I need to do, work on it, whatever projects. I have another developer, a friend of mine. Matter of fact, he was working with me at Verizon. We became buddies, and now we do projects together, but he moved to India. So they're like, almost 12 hours or something like that ahead of us. So I have to get up early to make sure I catch him. So really, man, when it comes down to time, you just have to make it. Everybody has the same amount of time. It's just, what are you going to do with it? I recently read a book by Ed Milet called The Power of One More. Okay. And it's a really good book. I suggest you read it. I always read my books on Audible. So that way I don't have to worry instead of sitting there just reading. I can do other things while I'm listening to the book. That's another way. But what he has a concept in there where he talks about segmenting the day into 3 days. So you've got these sets of hours, and he says this first 6 hours, I consider that a whole day. And I try to pack whatever I can into that 6 hours. That next 6 hours is another day. I pack whatever I can into there. And the mind state of that gives you the urgency. Because you think this day is almost over. I got to get this stuff done. If you know you have till 10 o'clock tonight, you're probably going to procrastinate just a little bit more. But when you segment your day that way, it's like, I got to go boom, 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 boom. So that actually forces you in order to be more productive throughout the day. And I've been trying to practice that. It's tough, man. But when you really have a fire to get things done, you'll find a way to get things done.
Yes, sir. Wow. Okay. So, man, you're doing all these things. So tell me, like your own stuff. So you're doing I know you have the Gangsta Fuel. So tell me some of the projects you're doing, your Gangsta Fuel, your music. Tell me some of those things you have going on.
Yeah, man. I can't stay still. I love what I do. Almost everything that I do has come from not trying to do a business, but something that I love. I'll tell you about the music. Well, actually, let me start back. When the software was the kind of like the first thing. It was before that it was art. Let me take it back even further. I'm an artist to begin with, and
Okay.
art runs through everything that I do. That's the foundation.
What kind of art? Like, what
Uh,
do you mean art?
and digital graphic art. So I'm like
Okay.
computer
Okay.
art. When I was young, I used to draw on the back of my papers. That turned into messing with the computer. I started learning Photoshop
Okay.
by putting black eyes on people with my friend when we were really young. I didn't have the computer. I would go over to his house and we would get little pictures and draw scars on people's faces and just have fun with it. And that's how I kind of got into computer art. Just messing around with like that. And I was
Okay.
like, this is fun. I could do this. In high school, I started making graphics for people and flyers and things like that. I didn't
Okay.
like school that much, so I would do graphic arts for my teachers. Instead of doing book reports, I would make a visual metaphor and turn that in. And luckily, I had teachers that were cool with it because they realized if you were able to do this, you understood the book. So I got a little gift of gab too. So I was able to kind of talk my way through.
Okay. Okay. A little. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me.
So
Yeah. You want it?
so yeah, it really evolved, man. It turned from doing graphics and stuff, and then I had a girlfriend's mom, my ex-girlfriend's mother worked at Intel, and she said, "I know you do graphics. We have an internal intranet site that we need built. Can you do it?" And in my mind, I was like, "I know I don't know anything about this, but I got friends who are going to school to do this stuff." My entrepreneurial mind kicked in and said, "Yeah, I can do it. Let me just go ahead and get this team together, and I'll just manage them. We'll get it done for you." I didn't tell her that part. So I went to my friend and I
Right.
said, "Hey, I got this contract." They're like, "We don't know how to do that. You on your own." So I was like, "Oh man, I already signed the contract." So I had to literally go out and buy a book and figure out how to build this website for them as I was learning how to do it. It was a total disaster, but it put me into the game of learning how to do websites, and I fell in love with that too. So skip forward, I went from doing websites to software to doing my own software. The way I got into music was I was building a mobile game and I needed some music for it. And I was like, well, I got GarageBand on my computer. Let me just try to mess around and make something simple just to have some prototype music in it. And I fell in love with making music, and so I kind of actually put that project away and started making music. I made an album after that. And I was like, wow, I can do this. I can make music. Let me do this too. So that's how that kind of came about. It's like I said, everything that I do comes from some labor of love. So I'll tell you about the Gangsta Fuel. I'm very athletic. I ran track in high school. I just love being healthy. I have a knack for just not wanting to eat junk food. I feel like we're being lied to. And, that's a whole nother story. But, I just don't like what gets pushed on us in regards to the health system because I feel like it's a big lie. People get all kind of confusion pushed on them. And I used to take all these different pre-workouts and stuff that make you all jittery and up and stuff. And one day I took some and I felt like I was on some kind of drugs or something. It just was not right. I said, this can't be right. My body should not feel like this. Whatever's in here is not cool. And I've seen things get taken off the shelves, banned after a while, all that kind of stuff. And I decided one day, enough is enough. I'm not taking any of this stuff ever again. So I started doing some research. I looked at the back of the labels of a couple of different things. I said, which of these ingredients in here are common and what do they do? Which ones should I not be looking at? And I go to Google and, and it's your best friend. You got everything right there. I started searching which ingredients would work and which ones were just BS. And it took me about 2 years of trial and error, getting sick sometimes, putting the wrong things together, finding out what you really don't need to do, all kind of stuff. Until I got myself a formula that really worked well, and I started using it. And I belong to this leadership group, and one of my friends in that leadership group is an MMA fighter. And he came up to us one day and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna be on Showtime. If anybody wants to sponsor me with whatever you got, I'll do it for $1,500. I'll wear your logo on Showtime." And I'm like, dang, on Showtime for $1,500, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna figure out something. So I gave him some money and I went home and I said, I'll figure out something. I was like, wait a minute, I got a pre-workout. That's perfect. So I branded it. I put a logo together and everything else. And I said, hey, man, go ahead and wear this. And that's when Gangsta Fuel was born. It wasn't ever really going to be a product. It just kind of grew out of me wanting to do something better. And the funny story, man, he actually went on this was really what powered me up. He went on to the fight. Monster Energy was sponsoring that fight. They made him cover up the logo. They made him put tape over it. And I was like, well, look, if I already got Monster Energy scared of me and they don't want my name anywhere in their ring, I'm doing something right. That actually propelled me even more. I'm very competitive. So that propelled me even more. So yeah, like I said, everything I do, man, comes from a source of just wanting to have a love for it. And then because I have a business mind, I figure out a way to sell it or promote it.
Wow, man. Wow. Okay. 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 All right. So we're gonna switch gears a little
All
bit.
right.
So not obviously not in chronological order, but we're switching gears. So you're a
I
father.
am. I love it. I love it.
How me? I have a 12-year-old girl.
Oh man, congratulations.
Um, yeah, congratulations to you. So when you say girl, I know what you mean. She's at her first sixth grade
Oh
dance
wow.
last Friday.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, man. So I believe me, I understand it. And I know, how that really, I know how that affected my life. I know how that, really kind of, like you said, you have this job, you're doing certain things because you have a child and you want certain stability, and you just want certain bases covered,
right.
right? While I'm out here doing this other stuff, I know this is all right. So how has that experience been for you, and how do you think that has changed you, or has it changed you, or what is it? How has that impacted your life?
Honestly, man, it's one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. I don't make me start crying here. I love my daughter. I love her so much. My wife is
Yes.
great. My daughter is great. Luckily, and this is kind of crazy, man. My daughter was born right at the beginning of the COVID epidemic. And at the time,
Oh,
I was working for Disney, and they told us, oh, you're gonna be home for 2 weeks. You're gonna go for 2 weeks, and then she was born, and that 2 weeks, as everybody knows, turned into forever, basically, right? And so I've been
yes, sir.
blessed, man, to be home every day with her, not having to go to the office in 9 to 5, and I've been able to see her growth every day, and it has changed me, man. I get to be more loving. I get to be more joyful and playful. I'm already a big kid, right? So it's like when I
Yes,
have
sir.
her, I get to express that even more. So we're dancing around and doing all this
Yes,
other
sir.
kind of stuff. And I would say the only way that it's affected me where I feel like it's a little, I wouldn't say negative. The only way that it's affected me where I feel it's a little adverse is it's made me a little bit more cautious and afraid to take big gambles and risks. I used to be able to say,
Okay.
you know what, if I have to eat beans and rice and butter for 3 weeks, I'll do that because it's all right. I'm going to make it happen. But I can't do that to my family. You know what I'm saying? So now everything I do is a lot more calculated and a little bit slower because of that, which is why right now I still have this job, even though I don't really like working for people. I have to make sure that the money's coming in the house. So yeah, but on top of that, man, it's strengthened my relationship with my wife. I mean, we were already good, but when we got this daughter here, now we're this super team. She stays at home, and I honestly, real quick story. When she told me that she wanted to stay at
Yes,
home,
sir.
I said, if you were anybody else, I would dump you right now, because she was my girlfriend at the time, right? Because I'm used to, when I was coming up, I dealt with a lot of female clients. So I had all these entrepreneurial women who I would do their websites for, and they were just like this type A personality, and I thought that's what I wanted. And when she told me she was going to she wanted to be a housewife, I said, perfect. Perfect, because you are the type of person I know will be the ultimate mother. You will take care of things so well, and you will probably work so much harder at home to take care of us than you would at a job, and you'll be there. Yes, this is perfect. And so it made us a super team. It's like I go out and I take care of other things. She takes care of the things that I don't like. She handles paperwork at home because I'm not a documentation person. As much business as I do, I'm not a documentation person. She handles all my weak points, and I love her for that. I really do. So us having a daughter has made us a super team in ways that I never thought were going to be possible, man. And it's been great.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's that's awesome. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit
All
again.
right.
So for your work, do you work people out as well?
I get
Are you
asked
a
that every
trainer as
day.
well?
I get asked that all the time. Are you a trainer? And I'm like, no, I'm a software developer. Ha ha ha. No, really. What do you do? They never believe it. I am not a trainer. I will work out with people if they want to work out with me. But I started going through a certified training thing, but that was just so I could have credentials behind my name for the product, just so I could put it on the website. I was never really interested in actually going out and being a trainer for people. But if any of my friends or anybody at the gym says, hey, I want to work out with you, I will always say yes. Because I do believe that if you're really trying to do something for your health and I know something and I can help you, I'm going to do it. I'm not interested in a job. I'm not going to ask you for no money. But if you want something, some help, I'm all there for you.
Do you? So just imagine you Just imagine you were a personal trainer, right? So the way your body looks right now, just imagine you're a personal trainer. Do you know what your body would be called if you were a personal trainer?
I think is a mesomorph. I think I don't remember.
Nope. Nope.
Endo, ecto.
This is me. Remember, this is me. This is me. If you were a personal trainer and people look at your body and they ask you, when they look at your body, they ask you a question. Like, think about what's happening. You're not advertising, you're not marketing, you're not grinding. They're asking you. You're not asking them, do you want to work out with me? They look at your body and assume you are something, which means they already believe it, so you don't have to sell it. And they already are willing to do it, which is why they're asking you in the first place. So what does your body actually represent to them? What actually is it?
Health, success, and fitness, and hard work. Like, when they look at me, they believe I'm a trainer because I look like a successful trainer. Like, you must be doing it. Yeah.
So you know what you really are? The first thing your body actually is customer service.
Interesting. Expound on that a little bit.
It's customer service. Remember when we were talking the other week, and I was saying, when you were saying on the other side of the customer, and you were right. Remember we were talking about that commercial? That conversation we had that. Yeah. When people see you are something, when you love what you do it in such a way that the love of what you do shines and shows, so that when you come into contact with someone else, how could they get anything different than what you're feeling?
Right.
They are calling you what you first call yourself. They may call, the name may be different, but you know what you look like, and so do they. You know how you feel about your body, and so do they, right? And the only difference is you have never tried to monetize it.
True.
But they are willing to pay you for it because you've already provided a customer service. You've already made them feel the way they want to feel just by looking at you. And so if you can make them feel that way, you can definitely make them look that way. And so what I would suggest to you, just on a little side note, just, especially since you and your lady are so close, think about it. Sit down and say, hey, do you think I could be a trainer? Not because I'm not even saying you want to or you shouldn't want to. I'm saying to you that you may want to give it some thought, but I say that to you because there's a lot of people who look like you, not a lot, but a lot of people who look like you. So just because you look like that doesn't mean you can train. Just because you can hoop like I did doesn't mean you can coach, right? But the difference is number one, just because you look like that, everybody doesn't approach you. Everybody doesn't seem approachable. Nobody's approaching Devo. Nobody's approaching the Swollest dude in Walmart. Some people just don't have the personality to be approached.
That's true.
They just don't give off that vibe. They have that vibe of the opposite, right? Like, don't with me. Just leave me alone. But you don't. And so look at all the different types of people who have approached you. And when I say customer service, what I'm saying to you is that your love of something, when you love it so much, the customer gets your love. That's self-generated. Right. So you don't, it's like a perfume. It's an odor. And so it's attracting, right? It's not even advertising or marketing. It's attracting. People see you and they say, not only do you look a certain way, but also but your personality also is an odor. So your playfulness, your kindness, your self-respect, your ability to carry yourself a certain way makes people feel, so you see a powerful dog, but if it's wild, you cross the street. If you see it with an owner that has control of it, now you admire it. Now you're like, damn, it could do that and it doesn't. And so that's what I suggest. I submit to you, people see that in you more than you realize. Like, they're saying to you something different than you're even really calculating because you're not consciously considering it. You're not doing it for money. So you'll work out with your friends for free. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I coach a lot of people for free just because of how much I love it. I never started off doing that. I never planned on coaching. This was my own journey. It was my own thing to find the truth, because I was like, man, you could be a good person, but your life could suck, right? How do I find the truth? Right? And what I'm saying to you is, just because you didn't consider it, I would suggest to you that if you did, I would suggest to you, it may actually be more of what you're looking for as far as your outcomes, because you're natural at it. You look like it, you sound like it. Look what you would do it for free. Everybody asks you to do it. People don't know you, see you look like it. You have the personality. That's why people are approaching you. And I think you're sitting on a gold mine right in front of your face. To be
You're
honest.
not the first person to tell me. I honestly don't know what the block against it is. I've been told that for years. Like the same exact thing.
Yeah,
you're still good. You're approachable. We would have fun. Blah blah blah. But there's something in me that's like,
yeah,
I don't know. I honestly don't. And maybe I do need to think about it some more so I can find whatever that reason so I can justify the no. Because if I can't justify it,
yeah. And that's why I said, I'm sure people tell you, but that's why, if you notice, I said, sit down and talk to your lady, because she will have, and I'm sure you guys probably talked about it to some degree, but I mean, like, if you brought it in a serious conversation, she may tell you something different than what she said already, right? Because she knows you're not necessarily considering it. It's just something that somebody gave you a comment and you're like, oh, what do you, but when you tell her, like, I'm really like, hey, do you think I could, you may be surprised the different answer that she may give you, right? Because you guys are so close. I think it'll really help you, because I honestly do. I'm from LA. We're the land of vanity. Yeah. We're the land. I mean, I've seen it all, right? But I'm telling you, man, you have like a thing, and your gift will make room for you. In the Bible, it says your gift will make room for you. It'll set you before kings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you have it. That's why look at what you're doing versus what people are asking. Mm-hmm. Look at what you're doing versus what people are asking you to do.
That's good.
Right? Yeah. So the thing that you're doing, you don't like as much as the thing that people are asking you to do that you won't consider. But they're asking you. Those are your customers. They're asking you. You think they won't give you a referral? They're asking you. You think that's not customer service when they're looking at you? They're served. That's why they asked. Mm-hmm. Right? So I'm just saying, just give it a little bit of thought, just a little more thought than you have. That's all. See where that takes you.
That's why it's hard talking to you. You got good points that make me have to second guess a lot of stuff, man. Honestly, man,
I'm telling you, man.
Like, I'm surprised that you coach for free. In the Saturday sessions that I've sat with you, your content is so good. I'm like, you're not charging for this right now? Like, it's really good stuff, man. I've told my wife about it. I've told other people, I'm like, I got to do this call on Saturday, man. This guy's got some really good stuff. If I'm not there, I'm watching the replay on YouTube. I love your content, man. And it's hard to talk to you sometimes because you make me have to think about it. I'm like, damn, he's right, man. I didn't even want to think about it like that. He's right. So yeah, man.
Well, it's my pleasure. And last thing I'll say to you is this. If you remember, the two people that stand out in the class the most are you and Hope. Because Hope be coming with some stuff, right? And so, but the thing that I like most about you guys are almost like the gangsters in the class. You're like the people who, if you can get these two people straight, their personalities are so powerful and magnetic, because everybody doesn't speak up like you. Some people say things, but you're more, you speak like you look. You speak with a lot more clarity and authority, self-confidence, self-assurance. Doesn't mean you feel like you know everything, but you're willing to put yourself out there to find out what you know, right? And so what I'm saying to you is there is a story about your life that you're telling yourself. And you have to be, I want you to think about what that is. So let me give you an example. I just started this podcast, about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And the idea came and I was like, I'm curious because I coach so many people, I learn so much from people, but I'm usually helping them. So I don't really get a chance to ingest it in a conversation like this, which is why the idea came. So now I get to, for lack of better words, I'm not trying to help you. I'm listening to you. Like, I'm learning from you. That's why I'm asking you questions. I'm not trying to tell you about my experiences. I'm asking you questions. But what I'm saying is that this podcast, I wrote it out. Before I wrote it out, I had a story I told myself. So I have a relationship. The podcast is my thing. What is my relationship to that thing? So this is what I came up with. I said, I have an amazing and incredible podcast. I said, I have millions of subscribers. I have, all my guests are matches made in
That's
heaven.
Right.
All my guests are perfect and are matches made in heaven. Right? I said, everyone loves what I have to offer and loves to refer other people who do the same. right? So what I'm doing now is I'm telling myself a story. I'm writing this in my consciousness, right? And so like a perfume, it starts to, like a food, you start cooking and then it starts to smell. And it starts to permeate, the odor starts to permeate in your house, in your body, in your life. And so when you are, well, that's what I mean when I was telling you to create your customer. What I'm saying is create your experience that you want. So right now you're going and going and going, but I'm saying to you, what is you said one thing you did say, you said, I'm going to be rich. I don't know how, but I'm going to be rich, right? So that's the story you're telling yourself. So based on that story, you're pursuing things, right? So now it's like, okay, well then if you're rich, how is that for you? Meaning, are you easy rich? Are you hard work rich? Are you have enough time for fun and family and friends rich? Or are you working yourself to death rich, right? You just, like you said, in your Gangsta Fuel, every product matters. Not you, right? The ones you have, the ones you don't, the ones you mix, the one you don't. You'll be sick. You'll be like, I feel crazy. You'll feel, right? So then every thought you have in your mind matters, right? And the one individually and the ones you combine. What I'm saying to you is sit down after this is, or when you get a chance tonight, tomorrow, because I know it's already late your time, but sit down and write a story for yourself and say, this is how my life is. You have a young daughter, and if you're not doing it already, you will be telling bedtime stories. And you're telling, right? And you're telling stories, and the best ones are made up. Yeah. They're better than the books, right? Because you get to ad lib, you get to throw, because you know her. You see what I'm saying? You know what story to create because, so she is your customer, but because you know her. But you know her, so the knowledge starts with you. So when you know her. And when you know her, you know what story to generate that she's going to buy. So you don't have to sell her anything or convince her of anything. You're making something for her specifically. It's a custom story. So what I'm saying to you is when this is over at some point, sit down and make a custom story for your life or for your business or for your relationships or for your father. Like as a father, I say to myself, you know what? I'm the perfect father for my daughter. I'm the perfect father for my daughter. I always know what I need to know and what to do about it. I'm always having the right conversations with her. I'm telling myself, I'm declaring the end from the beginning. Right. I'm not waking up and seeing, I'm waking up and saying. I'm waking up and saying, this is what's going to happen. I'm not waking up and see and say, man, what's out here? I hope not. Like, I don't have any control over that. If I'm a controller of my life, then I control it. I wake up and I order. When you go into a restaurant, you don't walk in and say, what are they going to give me? Right? You walk in and order what you want, and you sit down in expectation of having it. So what I'm saying is sit down and write a story for your life. Sit down, whether it's for your whole life or whether it's as a father, as a husband, as a businessman, your money, your health. Like, what is it? How is it? How does it go? Like you said, notice what you said about your lady. Know what you said about your wife. You described her. You said we're married, but then you described her. You said she's this and she's that, and she helps me do this and she helps me do that. Have you done that for your businesses?
Probably not. No.
But so then look at where you have success and look at where you don't. You can describe your success with her. You didn't just say I'm married. You said she's this, she's organized, she does all the paperwork. You said I couldn't do it without her. You look at how you describe, not just, you didn't say I'm just married. I don't just have a business. I'm married. Business, married, these are the same. Over here in married though, you are successful because look at how you described it down to the nth degree. Over here, you just have a business. You're waiting and seeing. Over here, your marriage, you're saying. You're waking up and saying, this is what it is, and this is what you got. So over here, what I'm saying is, if you can describe your business the same way you describe her, you will have the same success here that you have there. I'm only suggesting to you that the reason you haven't, to the degree that you're looking for, is because you haven't created an experience. You're waiting to have an experience to say this is what it is instead of creating your experience.
That's right.
Instead of saying this is what it is.
That's very exciting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh man, it's hard to hear that because I know it's true. Usually when I go for business, it's very rare that I'll sit down and say, this is what I want. It's usually I'm doing this today. I figure out what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going day by day and it's just gonna make something happen. Not really running with the plan, just kind of running day by day, kind of seeing the far off picture, but not illustrating it the way I want it to be. You know, you're right about that.
Yes. Right. Yes, right? So it's just like ordering your day at a restaurant, right? You order before you eat, and you eat what you order. If you just walk in and then wait for them to get to you, or you walk in and say, what do you guys got? They be like, we got meatloaf. You don't like meatloaf, right? You got, right? right? Same thing. If you wouldn't let somebody else order for you in one meal that's going to come out your body in an hour or a couple of days, you're going to let somebody else order your life.
Mm.
Right? And you putting all this money into it, this time into this effort away from your family, your lady, your daughter, your home, right? Yeah, you see what I mean? Right? It's just a little twist. It's just a little twist. If you sit down at some point and say, you know what? Hey, babe, how do we want our life to go? Like from this point on, we're good, and I respect you and I admire you. You do such a great job. I want to get you, let's write a story. Like, let's write our own book. Let's write our own story. From now on, we're starting from zero, from blank. Our life is now like this. And you write the story, and every day you guys tell yourselves that story. Keep doing everything you're doing. But what's going to happen is that story is going to start enlarging in your mind because you're repeatedly saying it. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. Faith comes by hearing, right? So the more you keep saying, it starts to become more real to you in your life, and it starts to rewire your brain to tell a different story. So now your reticular activation system, that part of your brain that identifies things, right, that are valuable to you, right? It will start to, it's saying, he keeps saying he's rich. They wrote this new story. She keeps saying we're healthy. He has more free time, or we're always able to do things together. And then your mind starts figuring out ways. And when two of you can do it, man, it's like In Shape and Red Bull. You out there killing it, right? So I just want to throw that a little bit to you because you have it. You have it. You just haven't decided, right? You just haven't decided yet. You at the buffet eating a little bit of everything, right? But like, you have it. You have it. And so I think if you just decided, you don't have to decide what you do even. You can just decide what you want. No matter what you do, you want an outcome. So if you decided I am wealthy, I'm successful, everything, I have more than enough time for friends, family, and fun. I have whatever the outcome is what you want. No matter what you do, you're doing it for that outcome. So sometimes you can focus on the thing because you know what it is, or sometimes you can just focus on the outcome and you don't care what you do to get that as long as you get that. But if you focus on that, then it's going to now say, okay, he's focused on this outcome. So now the outcome is going to find a way to get all the physical representations, all your hookups, or all of your people will come into your life that represent that. Hey, Khari, have you ever thought about doing this? Or, hey, we got this new thing, right? All your business things are coming according to what you're thinking now. But they're, like you said, they're Disney, they're Solar. They're the same thing. They're a little bit of everything because that's what you're thinking is a little bit of everything. See what I mean? Right. And the more clear you get on your desired outcome, not what you have to do to get it, but on your desired outcome, the more clear your opportunities will come to reflect that clarity and that potency, that power. Right. And you'll realize you won't have to do so many things.
That's definitely
you can do things for hobby, for fun.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I've noticed in the past month or so, maybe a little bit more than 2 months, I've been really heavily I've been really heavily dealing with artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence art in specific. And I made
yes sir.
I've made so many contacts. It's like every single day something new is happening there, and it's because that's where my energy is at. Every day I'm doing something there. I'm putting out a contact, or I'm talking to stuff, or not even trying to connect with people. I'm connecting people with other people. I'm promoting other people, and it's because. But you're definitely right, because I'm seeing it happen here. I need to take that same energy and put it towards those other things and watch those manifest as well.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. Exactly right. Talk to it. Talk to your art like you talk to your daughter. Tell it man, I love you, man. You out here killing it. Man, it's an expression of you. It's your baby. You're making it. It's your baby. When they see it, it looks like you. When they see her, it looks like you. Right? So you talk to it the same way, in the sense of like you put your love into it, you throw your back into it, in the sense of like you expect everything you set your hand to prosper. You expect, you know what I mean? You put your expectation, you put your belief into it, and it will shine. That's your customer service. That's it. And people will take that. They'll get what you put into it on the other side. They'll get it. They'll be like, oh man, this is nice. Right. So yeah, man, just something to think about. Keep doing.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I'm gonna be thinking about that, man. You got my gears turned.
Yes, sir. Hey, more mind, less behind. More mind, less behind.
I like that. That's good, man. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Yeah. All right. So now, so you're not training and you're doing all these different things, right? How do you like you said earlier before we were talking, how's the Atlanta scene with you doing all these things? Is there, I know it's a huge city, it's my favorite city. How is Atlanta, how is your Atlanta experience different than California? How is Atlanta and California? How do
You
they
know, the
differ?
funny thing is, it's night and day because I feel like when I was in California, that's actually when I was out. I had a lot of friends that lived around me. I was traveling. I was doing a lot of stuff. Ever since I've had my daughter, I've kind of been a homebody. So I haven't really even got out to really do
Yes.
a whole lot of networking in Atlanta. The most times that where I'm seeing people, it's usually my leadership group. I'll fly to Connecticut for a
Mhm.
leadership summit, or we have meetings on Zoom daily, and that's become my network. And the only people that I really see out here are my family. I'll go see my cousins. I'll go see my aunts, and we'll do that. I'll be with my family. My daughter will take my wife will take my daughter to the park, and we'll go out there. But I haven't really done a whole lot of networking out here, and that actually kind of bothers me because I know that this area is thick with entrepreneurialism. And I just ran an ad on Instagram, and I was looking at my results, and almost 80% of it was still back in California. And I was like, that can't be right. I need to have a bigger audience out here. What am I doing wrong? And how do I need to start, doing more advertising out here? I go to a gym not too far from here, and I got on their corporate plan to be able to vend and actually set up shop inside the gym with my product and everything. But I've only done it once. I'm paying like $125 a month and wasting all that money and not actually going. And I feel bad about that because sometimes I'll go and I'll see the other vendors there, and I'm like, Carl, you need to be in here. This is what you're not doing. This is where your crowd is at, right in your own city. And most of the responses you get from your ads are all the way across the country. That don't make no sense. So in regards to my experience out here, I have not been doing what I was doing when I was in California. And I don't know if it's just because of the age, the fact that I have a daughter now, that I'm not moving around as much. Honestly, I'm not sure, but I do need to do something about trying to be more out and about and market and be more in person with people out here so that I can be making more networks in this area for sure. Because there's a lot going on.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is
Go ahead. I was going to say,
saying,
because there's a lot going on. There's just so much happening. Even when I
yeah,
look and see about my wife she looks at all the events and stuff. There's something happening every day out here, every single day. And there's a lot of opportunities. And part of me feels guilty for not jumping and capitalizing on the opportunities that are right here in my backyard, to be honest with you.
hmm hmm yeah, man. Well, I mean, you're such a talented guy, man. There's only 24 hours in a day, and it seems like you're using most of them, if not all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I definitely wouldn't call you lazy or unambitious or unfocused. It just, there's only so many things you can do, and you're trying to figure out which ones are most, important to you and stuff like that. So, but you'll be fine, man. You sit down and write down kind of some things, and you'll see some things come out that you haven't really
Yeah.
seen yet. There's things in you that you haven't seen yet because you just haven't decided yet
That's a good way to put
you
it.
haven't
I
decided.
find myself behind the screen often. I network on the screen. I network on the computer all the time just because it's a comfort zone.
Yes,
But
yes,
I need to get out of my comfort zone and actually start being more in person with the people out here to get that other side of the market instead of just saying, well, I can talk to you here. I got my network here. There's something about being in person that it garners trust. It garners familiarity. People will do more referrals for you because they've seen your face, not just behind a screen. They're just like, oh,
hmm
I felt this person's energy. You need to check them out. And the context that I do make when I'm in the gym and the people that walk up to me, you're definitely right about that. When they see me now, they talk to me every day because once they want to talk to me for the first time, they're
yeah,
like, oh, it's cool. Okay, when I see him next time, a high
yeah,
five, all that kind of stuff, and that's important,
yeah.
But I need to do a better job about that. Yeah, now I'm sitting here. I
Man, if
will.
you
Go ahead.
if you get to the man, if you get to that gym and just talk to people, people will love you, man. Like there's you just have it. You have the combination of the physique, the personality, you have the youthful appearance, you have the approachability, you have the I think people just like I do can perceive just your kindness, your goodness, your maturity, your self-respect. Like you're not out. You can see the marriage on you. You can see the maturity on you. You can see the honor and respect
I
on you.
appreciate that.
And so people can see something and then they can feel something, and those two together are potent. And if you spend time not because you're trying to get something, you'll get it just because you're there. That's why I said this thing for you and even your art, those two things, man, you could really take off. I believe you could really, really take off if you just spent some time with them. And it means you may not do everything else, but you don't care as long as you get your desired outcome, right? You're wealthy like you want, time with your lady and your daughter, and you can do whatever you want, but you have it. If you get to that gym, man, and just dude, your stuff will be selling like hotcakes because you're selling yourself and people like you. And number one, and then that digital art, I can just tell your love for it. I can tell like your just excitement of it, like your excitement, like a 14-year-old playing video games. There's your excitement, right? But that comes off too. And there's just that level of when you're in your lane, there's a level of brilliance that comes that is different than when you're not. When you're more in your calling, when you're more coming from the inside out, there's a level of genius that clicks on. Almost like when a woman becomes pregnant. It's always possible, but not until she becomes pregnant, and things like that. Things click on in the body. Things will click on in your body, in your mind, as a result of your impregnation of your joy, right? Of like, man, I'm out here on this art and I'm out here crushing it. Right. And that's what you're saying when you're writing it. You're like, man, I'm out here crushing. When you're drawing your thing, man, I'm out here crushing it, man. I can't even keep these things on me. They're selling like that while you're doing it. Right. Just like you're telling your baby you love her while you're bathing her, while you're talking to her all the time. Right. Because she's conscious, and your consciousness is when you're talking and you're forming your consciousness while you're doing it. Your consciousness is painting, and is painting according to the state of itself. You see what I'm saying? So when you're professing your genius and your brilliance and people's love for your art, you're painting that. And when people get that thing and they look at it and they say, shit, this is woo. Yeah, then you'll be like, how did I sell that much? It's the same. But it ain't the same because you did it at a different state of mind. Just like Atlanta's different than California, the state of mind of brilliance, of genius, of in your lane, it's a different state of mind. It has different environment, different outcome, different people, right? So you do that. And you just show up to that gym, working out, but be prepared to talk. People gonna talk. They're gonna talk to you. And if you say, hey man, you don't have to do anything, bro. Just show up. They'll talk to you. And the more they talk to you, they'll start asking you for stuff. And then if you just leave yourself open, you'll see like, I'm not gonna ask anybody for anything. I'm just gonna leave myself open. If somebody says they want to work out with me, I'll say, okay, I'll set you up a program, I'll set you up a time. And then you'll say, you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna show up, but that's all I'm gonna do. If people come to me and ask, I'll do it. And I'll say, hey, okay, I'll do it. I have a little bit of time. I charge this or that. It's not that you're trying to get money from them. You ain't asking them for nothing. But if they ask you and they want to work out, just see. And then you'll know, right? And then when they ask you and you're rich and you're out here doing this every day, you just give me a little cut. That's all the finder's fee. And we're all good.
Be like, look, you helped me out with this, man. I really appreciate it, man. Let me break it off real quick.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, they'll love you, bro. Like, you have it, Khari. You have it. That and that art. Sit down, man. Think about it. You have it. And the vision will come to you if you're willing to consider it. Last thing I'll say to you on it is, like I always tell people, I'll use vision, or I'll use the word God. Vision, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't need your help. It just needs your permission.
That's deep.
Your vision don't need your help. It just needs your permission. When you won't give it permission, you can't get the help. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't need you do software. You're doing the software, but then don't you have to put it on something like some kind of server or so? Don't you need a platform to? Yeah, but the platform doesn't do the work for you. It's where you, the doer, gets to put their stuff on to express, right? It's the same. It doesn't. So the server, you don't need the server's help. You just need the permission. You just need a place to put it, right? Your vision, your desire that's burning in you, it doesn't need your help. But a lot of times we stop it because we think, I know this thing, but I don't know how to do that. It's not asking you for that. It's asking for your permission. If you just say, yeah, okay, I'm open to that. I don't know, but I know what you said. I know. Cool. Come on in. Let's get it done. Right. And then you'll start to see stuff roll out. You start to see stuff roll out. People will approach you, but now they're approaching you for a vision. And so you didn't need to help it. You just gave permission. And now it was able to express itself. Right. And you'll find people will find you. You'll have opportunities. You'll find free time. Things will change in a way where you're actually doing less work physically. And you'll realize you're just being led there. Right. Your footsteps are guided. Your paths are directed. And you'll see, because what does it say? My yoke is easy and my burden.
That's right.
It wasn't that person who was saving everybody wasn't out there grinding. He wasn't doing all that other stuff. But he said, I'm about my Father's business. So I'm aware of what I'm here for. And when you become aware, when that vision comes to you and you're like, all right, I can't help you, but I'll give you permission. Move on in. And you like, cool, right? And you'll see, bro, your thing will go boom. And you'll just be like, dude, I've done half the work. I'm making 3 times the money. And because it's not you doing the work, it's your Father in you. It's your consciousness of being successful as now has room to grow.
I like that. I like that a lot. You speaking my language, man. I am very much in tune with the way that you're talking. Every morning, the leadership group that I'm in, we have something called the daily ritual, and it's basically it's a practice in emotional intelligence. You do every morning before you start your day.
Okay.
So it's 4 modalities,
Okay.
And basically you start off with the first one is just you start your day with gratitude. I have 4 songs. The song that goes with each modality. So you start off. I put my thank you song on, and I just say, "Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for this day. It's going to be an awesome day. I'm so thankful that I'm alive." You just express this feeling, and you think about the things that you love, the things that you have, your family, your daughter, all that stuff, and just get into a state of gratitude, right? And just fill yourself up with that. Once you're done with that, the second modality is power and strength. So the second thing is, you beat on your chest, and basically you're telling yourself, I am strong, I am powerful. And the reason you're hitting yourself is because your body is thinking, this is real, this is really happening. You're not just saying what's going on.
We are.
So I have like little steam bath showers. I can close up all the way and yell when I'm in there. So I'm in there like, I am strong, I am a powerful, I'm a creator, I'm a great husband. All these things, you get yourself powered up and you're ready to the point where your veins are out and everything is going. And you need to power yourself up because the third modality is fear. And a lot of people don't like to go into the dark and the fear. They don't like to think about it. They think maybe not, I'm going to put that stuff off. But what this does, it primes you for the rest of your day so nothing else can touch you. Because you're thinking about all the worst stuff that could happen, all the things that you could be afraid of. What will happen if I don't take care of this? What happens if I lose my job? Da, 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 da. You take yourself there. And then so you get deep into it. And then the very last modality is release. You release all that stuff. You realize that all these emotions I just went through, I created that. All that fear I just felt, I created that. All that power I felt, I created that. I don't have to worry about nothing else for the rest of the day. I can release and give this day to my higher power, give this day to God, and know that from now on, for the rest of the day, nothing's going to touch me. I do that every morning. And the reason I bring that up is because the way you're talking right now, I'm definitely in sync with that. You have to, talk to it. Let it be known, let it be manifested, believe in it, and tell yourself what's going to happen. When you said write down your story, it's the same type of thing. I have to be able to say, this is what I'm going to be doing. I believe this. I'm putting it on paper. I'm making it real. I'm not even just thinking about it. I'm actually physically putting this out on something so that it's going to be manifested. And so I think that everybody should have that type of mentality when it comes to their success, their life, their health, their relationships. What do you want it to be? Tell yourself it's going to be positive. Tell yourself that you are positive and that you are powerful. I'll give you a real quick little insight about me and in the gym. I have serious body dysmorphia, and this might be the reason why I don't want to train people. When I was young, and this is way back, this is some deep mental stuff. When I was in 6th grade, we had this PE teacher that came in, and he was young and he was cool. All the girls liked him. One day he looked at me and said, "Dang, Khari, you got some knobby knees." Brother, I didn't wear shorts until I was in my 20s because of that. And the only time I would wear shorts was if I was running track. I had to wear shorts. But other than that, I just was always ashamed of my body. I always thought that I was skinny. And I vowed to myself, I am not going to be this little skinny person. Because if you see older pictures of me, I was scrawny. I was really scrawny. And so I started telling myself, no, it's not going to be that way. I'm going to do something about this. So I just started getting in the gym. And that's actually what promoted me to start looking at health and eating right and all that kind of stuff. It came out of a place of feeling like I wasn't enough. Until I had to start reading. So it turned around eventually where I could look at myself and say, yeah, you're doing all right. But there's still some days I look at myself and I'm like, you got to do better. You got to do better. You got to do better. Meanwhile, everybody's telling me, dude, you're big, you're strong. And I'm like, but look at this guy. I'm not there. And so I think I know I don't want to bring it all the way back around, but I think that might be part of the reason why I'm afraid to go into business, train other people, because part of me still believes that I'm not enough to be able to do that. And so that's something I need to sit down and take a look at because I do struggle with that sometimes, So the daily ritual that I tell you about helps me to get over that. because in the morning I tell myself how
Yes, sir.
powerful I am. I tell myself what kind of day I'm going to have, and that way I can get over that feeling of, oh man, you didn't do enough, or look at that guy over there, he's much bigger than you. I'm like, no, I'm powerful. I'm a great father. I'm a great husband. I make good money. I'm a great friend. I don't have to worry about that stuff. I'm doing it, Khari. Go handle the day, and that's what helps me get through.
Yes,
So
sir.
I would actually suggest that
Yes, sir.
everybody, if you can, get some type of morning ritual to start your day headed in the right direction, because it can seriously change your life, change your mind, change your outlook on things, and lead you towards a path of success.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, like I said, man, that's why I'm so happy and so grateful for this conversation, because I see how much success you exude and exhibit, just from what I've heard about you, what I've been able to read a little bit, that you sent, that I was able to read before we met up. And I was like, man, that's why I said, man, what do you want to talk about, man? You do like 95 different
Yeah.
things, but you do them. I mean, I saw your art, I can obviously see your physique. I can tell by the way you talk about being married or being a husband and being a father that, that you're doing well in those areas. So a lot of people don't do well in hardly one area, much less more than one. So it really does go to show that your morning rituals, that your self-awareness, that your self-love, and all those different things you are using to, to promote and progress yourself and to continue to climb and stuff like that. And unfortunately, most people use most of their activity to get through the day, or to get through where they are, instead of to grow out of where they are, to actually get out. Some things aren't best to get over; they're just best to let go.
That's
Right? We don't want our ladies to get over bad breath. We just want them to let go. Like, brush your teeth, put the gum in. Like, this is not something to try to get through. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something to try to, you gotta let it go. Right? There's some things in life, bro, that we have to just learn to let go, because there's nothing good we can do with it.
Damn, man. You know what? I'm gonna be honest, Lucky. You said a lot of stuff tonight, but that hit me really hard. There's some things that you don't need to get through. You just need to let go. I love that, man. Because I've never really thought about it that way. When I think of issues or things that I'm going through or whatever else, I always think, gotta fight it. No, man, let it go. That's much easier. The mindset of looking at that way.
Because you think about it, look at the dude in high school who's fighting everybody every day. Does anybody think that person's intelligent? Do they think like he has a reason to fight every day, everybody?
Right.
After a while, you're just like, oh, this is right? And sometimes in life, we're fighting too many things because we think like either there's something wrong with us or we're going to get better if we just overcome it. And it's like, how many hills can you climb in a day? Why do you think people quit? Why do you think people die on that hill? Why do you think people don't even attempt to change? Because there's only so many wars you can fight, hills you can climb. There's only so many things you can get over. Sometimes a lot of things are not things to get over, they're things to let go. They're things you shouldn't try to keep.
Right.
Love what I mean? Right. And I think that's part of our maturation process. Like you talked about with your morning ritual, just things that make you go inward, that are self-reflection times. And I'm glad to hear you do that. And it does show, though. It shows with you have a level of composure and a level like you carry yourself a certain way. It's very obvious. And I work with a lot of people, and I can tell, like, I don't care what you tell me. Like I was a basketball trainer for years, and I used to tell kids all the time, like, dude, if I give you a drill, I know if you're working on it. I can turn my back and I can just listen to how long it takes the ball to bounce. I know I've lived this. You can't fool me, right? And so coaching a lot of people now, I can just tell who's, everybody's working on something, but I can tell who's stable. I can tell who spends time with themselves. I can tell who knows themselves. I can tell who's just out here using all the buzzwords, but they ain't nowhere near there, at all. Right? Yeah.
Man, that's great.
Right? It's like, yeah, right. So no, man, you have a lot to offer, man. A lot to offer, a lot of people. And there are, if you thought, you're still working on something and you look the way you look, how do you think people who don't, what do you think they think?
That's my wife.
And who better to relate to them than you?
Right.
Who better to relate to them than you? Right. And, so all these things, man, but, man, I know it's late where you are and I don't want to keep you too long, man, but this was definitely motivating, man, and encouraging for me. I respect what you're doing, man, in all areas of your life. You are. As I've gotten older, I'm very particular about who I spend my free time with. Talk. I'm sure you understand that because you only have so
Right.
much of it, right? Right. So I ain't got time to be, like my brother right under me. He talks to people. He went to school with in kindergarten, first
Yeah.
grade, and still I'm like, man, yeah, how do you even remember that cat? Like, it's like for me, I'm like, if we ain't in it right
Yeah.
now, I remember, but I ain't looking for
Don't
you,
match
bro.
my first date.
And so
Right.
you are very much that person.
I really appreciate
You're
that,
very
man.
much like the person that
I truly appreciate that. I honestly believe that we have I'll tell you, I belong to a group called the Edge, and we have
Yeah, tell me about that real quick. Tell me about
man,
that.
best decision I've made. Well, second best decision I made in my life. First is my wife.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
joining this group, I've been in for about 5 years. Our leader trainer,
Okay.
his name is Raul Velasquez. You can find him online. He's an excellent guy. But that it's basically a group of entrepreneurial men. And when you get into the group, you think
Okay.
it's about business. You come in thinking I'm going to go to the next level in my business. I'm going to do this, whatever.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
find out that the program really works on you and your relationships because that's the basis of everything. So like I told you,
Yes,
the
sir.
morning ritual we have, that's a deep part of our group. So it's that. And then a lot of the guys that come there, man, there's a lot of guys that are in real estate. So there's a lot of rich guys in there as well. But what you'll find out, and what I found out is that no matter how much money somebody has, they're just like you at the end of the day when it comes to the problems that they have, being a real person, whatever, relationship issues. And one of the things that we say is our authenticity is the currency that we have. It don't matter how much money you have, your authenticity is. And so what I love about the program is I've met some really good, down to earth guys that will just bare their heart to you and tell you, this is what I'm going through, man. We don't even talk about money. We don't talk about that kind of stuff. It's like we get in together and talk about, hey, man, well, how's your relationship with your wife? How's your relationship with your customers? How are you doing with yourself? Hey, how's that advice that you got going? Is that working for you? Blah, 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 blah. And when you have that type of proximity and authenticity, you have no choice but to start rising up. Especially when you see some of the guys around you that are
Yes, sir.
doing well, and you're like, okay, well, what am I doing? Well, I see this guy, he's doing that. I could do that too. Da da da. It's an excellent program. I will send you a link to it because I think that you would really love to see what we have going on. Watch some of the videos as well. Like I said, if you take a look, the
Okay.
guy's name is Raul Velasquez. Excellent guy. He's actually a business partner of mine now. I make the app for our program as well. We have this really cool app. It's an accountability app. It gamifies your accountability.
Okay.
So every day you have to put in a journal.
Okay.
How did I love today? How did I do business today? Did I work on my bonds today? Did I work on my meditation? Did I pray today? And you're basically saying, here's how things happen for me this day, and here's what I expect to happen this day, and you get points for it. And then every Monday on the training, we see which of these teams and which people are actually doing the work and which ones aren't, so that we can actually gamify our accountability amongst each other. And like I said, man, it's been one of the best decisions I've made joining that group because not only am I really meeting really good people that have pushed me to the next level, but it's really inspiring, and like, when it comes to having networking connections, I can get on the phone any time of day and call any of the brothers there and be like, man, here's what I'm going through. I know it's 3:00 in the morning. Here's what I'm going through. And they'll pick up the phone and talk to me. So it's
Right.
been great.
Wow. Wow. Where is that out of?
So they're mainly out of, I'm going to say, Connecticut and New York. I used to have to fly across the country to go to our
Okay.
events. Now, luckily, it's a little bit cheaper because I just fly out of Atlanta. But yeah, we have an event coming up, the Leadership Summit on May 1st through 3rd coming up. So I'll be leaving to that pretty soon. But we have those every so often. I was going to talk to you about it sooner because I honestly think that you would love this program, man. And I would love to actually have guests and come
Okay.
along with me. I don't even know what your schedule is like, but
Okay.
we do, like I said, we do have an event coming up after this thing. I can give you some information. If you would like to be my guest at this event, tickets on me, and you can come along and have a great time. If not, then there'll be another one later on, but I'll definitely give you some information about it, man, because we need more high caliber men like you. We already got some really good guys, but you fit the bill. Every time I watch you on Saturday, I'm like, yeah, man, he's got it. He's got all this state. He's got the right mind state. He's teaching people. He's doing it because he loves it. All the things that we admire about the men in the group, you exhibit all of that, which is one of the reasons why I admire you. I wouldn't be coming to your class on Saturdays or sitting down if I was like, man, he's full of it. Or he don't know what he's talking about. But when I'm there, I'm like, dang, he challenges me. He tells me stuff in a way that I like it harsh. You know, we're a group of guys. We're not going to give it to you sugar coated. You know what I'm saying? And that's why sometimes you're like, oh, maybe I need to come. I'm like, no, come hard with it, man. That's the way I like it. You have that same kind of personality where it's like, I'm gonna tell you how it is, but I'm not gonna hurt your feelings. But I'm gonna tell you straight what you really need to hear. Something that's really going to benefit you. I love your style, and that's the kind of thing that I like. So I would love to introduce you to the group. I'd love to introduce you to Raul. I think he would like you as well. And yeah, man, I like I said, it's a very, very good group of guys. My wife loves it. It actually saved our marriage. If you get, I don't know how much time, I'll tell you a real quick story about that.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
Man, before we got married, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, like I said, and I was going back and forth and wondering if we were going to be together. We were together for like 6 or 7 years, and we were in Mexico, and it was going to be our last trip together. And I'm just out there with her and her mom and her dad. And I happened to open up YouTube one day and I saw this commercial, and I only got like halfway through this ad. It's this guy, and he's throwing his desk over. He's having a fit. He's talking about how his business was messed up and his life was messed up. And he felt like he had his edge, but he lost his edge. I only got halfway through the commercial, and I called her up. I said, you got to watch this thing. This is crazy. Watch this with me. And so we watched it. I swear to you, by the time it was over, she said, that's totally you. Whatever that program is, yeah, that's totally you. You need to go ahead and contact them. I was like, I know. So I called them up, had my conversation with them. And I remember I talked to Raul on the phone. I told him, I said, I'm about to dump my girlfriend, man. We've been together. We just don't get along, blah, 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 blah. He's like, no, you're not. He said, for the next 30 days, he said, I don't want you to make any decision on that. What you're going to do is you're going to start using this app that we have, because I rebuilt their app, but they used to have a very basic app. He said, you're going to use this for the next 30 days. You're going to watch yourself and analyze yourself for the next 30 days. After that, you come back to me and tell me what's going on. 30 days of me analyzing myself deeply every day and actually writing it down and having a journal of what was going on with me. I realized every complaint I had about her was really a complaint I had about myself. And I was all these things I was mad at. She don't do this, she don't do that. I would read it up like, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. This is the same thing I'm complaining to her, but it's me. And so when I realized that, it was such an eye-opening thing. And it really it helped me to have so much more self-awareness. And like I said, so after that, that's, I went to this really hard boot camp that we have. I can't tell you what happens there because we're sworn to secrecy, but it's tough.
Yes, sir.
And when I got back, I was like, yeah, it's time. And that's when I knew I was going to marry her. I was like, I'm going to get married to this woman. And so that's why I said when the 2 weeks thing came up for me to move over there, it wasn't no surprise to me. I'm like, I already know I was going to marry you because I figured this out like last month. Let's go. And so it actually saved my relationship, man. I don't know where I would have been had I not had that self-awareness and had that aha moment of everything that you're putting out into the world that you blame the world for is really you, Khari. Take a look in the mirror, and so it's really helped me. Like I said, help me be a better man, help me be a better father, help me be a better husband, help me be a better entrepreneur, help me be a better son. I had to forgive my mom of things that we had. It helped me look at life in a whole different way. And I'm still learning. Like I said, I've been in there for 5 years and I'm still learning stuff that's brand new that's helping me. So, yes, man, I could go on all night, but long story short, I love the program. It's helped me a lot. I owe a lot to the brothers there that have really been and had my back. You remind me of them. Like I said, that whole saying of proximity is power comes from that group. I truly believe that who you surround yourself with is who you're going to be like. So I love being in there Saturdays and listening from you because I'm learning. Even those times when you tell me something that's challenging, I'm like, wait a minute, Lucky, what about this? And you're like, no, listen. I'm like, all right. Dang, he's right. I love that kind of stuff.
But I love your challenge. Yeah, I love your challenge because that's the whole point of the group is to find the truth. It's not for me to be right and you to be wrong. It's to find the truth so that we can all take it when we go our separate ways and live it. Right. And I always say that if it's the truth, it's going to stand. So I'm not afraid. It's not mine. I don't own the truth. Right. I may be saying what I think is the truth, but I'm going to find out real quick. So when you say, no, look, that ain't right. And then we go back and forth. It's like, OK, the truth is put on the stand. Right. It's put on the witness stand. And we get to see we get to both cross-examine it. Right. And then we both get to walk away and say, OK, now we have a better understanding of whether that was right or, truthful or not me or you, but it. Right. So we can take it back and apply it. Right. So I appreciate what you do because that's what makes the group alive. That's what it's for, man. So that's why, like I said, I was so excited for you to come on here, because I respect the fact that, you're there to learn. You're not there to just listen and go along. This ain't no service or no sermon. This is a lifestyle, right? And so I'm glad that you're like, hey, we're getting this information to live on, not to sweat and be happy and be the same person 2 hours later, 2 hours later. So, man, I definitely appreciate you, man. And like I said, I know it's late where you are, so I'm gonna let you get off. But yeah, man, I have your contact information. I'll let you get some rest tonight, but I have it. I'm gonna reach out to you tomorrow, and we'll talk more about, we'll talk more.
Please do. I love this.
I'll let you get in bed.
Yeah, my wife is like, where is he? Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Keep doing this. I love what you're doing. Do not stop this, man, because everybody needs to hear what you got, man. We really do. You're helping a lot of people.
And before you go, put out your let everybody get your information, for your Gangsta Fuel, for just how they can contact you and anything like that.
What I'm doing right now, the easiest thing, you can go to gangstafuel.com if you want my product, but if you want to know more about me, I'm trying to put together a portfolio of all the stuff that I do all in one place. My nickname is Spore1. That's just SPOR number 1. So if you go to spore1.com, you'll see my music, you'll see my software. I'm about to add my artificial intelligence stuff there. That's where everything will be. All things Khari will be at spore1.com, SPOR number 1.com. So that's the best way to reach me.
Sweet. Hey, my brother. Well, thank you for coming on, man. This was a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I really appreciate you, respect you, and thank you. And like I said, I will reach out to you tomorrow for sure. I'll let you get in the bed, man. We don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to get in trouble.
My wife is
I can't get in trouble, man. It's only 7 o'clock.
My wife ain't no joke, man. I'm like, don't get in trouble.
Man, I'll be at the beach with you. Yeah, I'll be out there at the edge with you, like, help.
I appreciate you, brother.
But
have a great night, and I look forward to Saturday. I'll see you then as well.
Oh yeah, I got that smoke coming on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be there. All right. You have a wonderful night.
All right,
blessings to you, brother. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Yes, sir. Peace.